Dear readers, welcome to our channel. Is this real? With the sudden moves by the US government, it feels like we are in the midst of a global storm in the industry. The turbulent situation prompts deep reflection. Is this a battle of technologies, or is there more international maneuvering behind the scenes? Where is the future heading for the electric vehicle industry? Are you curious about why the US is taking such a tough stance against Chinese companies? Is it merely a trade dispute, or does it involve a deeper technological struggle? Let's together unveil the opening act of this globally watched China-US electric warfare. Recently, in less than 3 days, the US government has taken action twice, causing China to be on high alert. First, on the night of the 20th of this month, U.S. media revealed that the U.S. will prohibit the Pentagon from purchasing batteries from 6 Chinese companies. Following that, on the 21st, U.S. media reported that the U.S. Department of State recently conducted a surprise search of the U.S. subsidiary of Chinese automotive parts manufacturer Qingdao Sanxing Technology Co, Limited, based in Ohio. These two actions may seem like isolated incidents, but behind them lies a subtle connection, precisely linked to the development of China's electric vehicle industry and its related sectors. The electric vehicle industry is currently one of the industries that the U.S. is particularly focusing on targeting China, with efforts rivaling those in the semiconductor industry. For this purpose, legislation supporting the production of electric vehicles in North America has been introduced, as the electric vehicle industry not only holds tremendous commercial potential, but China has already accumulated significant strength in this field. Friends who pay attention to the automotive market surely know that in the entire electric vehicle industry, traditional automotive industries in Europe, Japan, and South Korea, which were once dominant, have basically fallen behind. At present, China and the US are the most competitive, both having strengths in brand, technology, and products, and a comparison in the market will reveal the winner. However, the US is unexpectedly using political means to forcefully target China's new energy vehicle industry with sanctions and interventions. Even more important is that the occurrence of this incident indicates a fact. That is, the US has already set its future main battleground. As everyone knows, the current situation between China and the U.S. is different from when the U.S. launched a comprehensive crackdown on China in 2018. In 2018, former U.S. President Trump actively courted Russia and laid the foundation for withdrawing troops from Afghanistan. At that time, apart from encountering bottlenecks in development, the U.S. had no major troubles. At such a moment, the Trump administration launched a strong crackdown on China, and today there is still no sign of a ceasefire in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The situation in the Middle East continues to attract international attention, and the situation in the Red Sea is escalating. Israel has once again killed an Iranian military advisor in Syria, a series of issues that seriously affect the U.S.'s international strategy, restraining the U.S. and forcing it to invest a large amount of political and strategic resources in the Middle East and Eastern Europe. However, under such circumstances, the U.S. unexpectedly conducted a surprise search of the U.S. subsidiary of China's Qingdao Sanxing, even challenging China twice in 3 days. And you must know that not long ago, the U.S. started arms sales to Taiwan, finalized missile deals with Japan, and supported the Philippines in causing trouble in the South China Sea. All of this is enough to show that no matter how many external or internal problems the U.S. is currently facing, the most important thing for the U.S. is always targeting China. The main battlefield for the U.S. has been set, which is the game between the Asia-Pacific region and China, reflecting the U.S.'s ambition not to stop until it brings China down. In response to this matter, the spokesperson of the Chinese embassy in the U.S. has expressed strong opposition through email. In fact, since 1949, China has encountered resistance and bullying from powerful nations under difficult circumstances. It can be said that China has reached its current position by overcoming countless difficulties. In that case, why would China fear the US's oppression? The US has oppressed China so many times in the past, and ask yourself, has any of those attempts been successful? Saying that China would be afraid is absurd. What truly worries China is that the US's sustained oppression will have an impact on the entire international community. We know that since the end of World War II until today, 75 years have passed. And the end of the Cold War was only over 30 years ago. In other words, people around the world have emerged from the shadow of hegemony and embarked on the path of globalization, which is less than half the time since the end of World War II. Although the world has not been completely stable in these 30-plus years, for most countries, it can be considered a rare golden age, and it is also a rare period of stability in the entire history of human civilization. If you check the history, you will find that it is almost impossible for the entire history of human civilization to maintain peace for a long time. This kind of opportunity is almost rare, and the number of times it happens is extremely limited. The US is clearly trying to force a new Cold War against China, and in fact, recently, Russia has criticized NATO for returning to the Cold War. Humanity has finally ushered in such a golden age. As long as China and the US cooperate, the world can strive for more stable and faster development, and many regional disturbances can also come to an end. But what is the US doing? It is doing everything possible to provoke contradictions, create wars, and initiate a new Cold War, which may end the hard-won peace of the entire international community. This is what we should be vigilant about. Finally, let me share my thoughts on the US Congress's proposal to ban the Pentagon from purchasing batteries from 6 Chinese companies. I hope you find it enlightening and thought-provoking. Recently, the US Congress is pushing for legislation to ban the Pentagon from purchasing batteries from 6 Chinese companies. The background of this move involves complex political and economic factors, including the tense trade relations between the US and China, concerns about technology transfer, and national security. Objectively speaking, this event reflects the complexity and multilateral nature of the current international political and economic landscape. Point 1. Global supply chain interconnection. In the era of globalization, economic ties and supply chain cooperation between countries are increasingly close. Many products, including batteries, are the result of global collaboration. Therefore, any attempt by a single country to sever these connections will inevitably have an impact on itself and related industries. Point 2. Technological and security considerations. Batteries, as a crucial technological component, are vital for both military and civilian applications. The U.S. may be taking this action out of concerns about technology transfer and national security. By restricting purchases from Chinese companies, the U.S. aims to protect its critical technology from leaking and reduce potential security risks. Point 3. Economic and trade factors. This event also reflects the economic competition and trade tensions between the U.S. and China. As the competition intensifies in technology, manufacturing, and other fields, similar economic sanctions and trade barriers may continue to emerge. Point 4. Multilateralism and global governance. This event highlights the importance of multilateralism and global governance in the current international system. In a mutually interdependent world, any unilateral action by a single country may have repercussions on other countries and the global economy. In summary, this event reminds us that in the background of globalization, economic, technological, and security connections between countries are becoming increasingly intertwined. Any attempt to sever these connections may bring unforeseen consequences. Therefore, countries should seek cooperation and dialogue to address trade and technology issues constructively and collectively maintain an open, inclusive, and prosperous global system. This event not only concerns the US and China but also has profound implications for the global economic, technological, and security landscape. Let's delve into several key points. First, we must understand that the global supply chain is not a chessboard that any single country can manipulate at will. Battery production involves numerous companies and countries. If the US unilaterally cuts ties with these 6 Chinese companies, it may lead to increased costs and unstable supply of military equipment, and may even affect combat capabilities. Whether this robbing Peter to pay Paul approach truly aligns with the long-term interests of the US is worth pondering. Second, technology transfer and national security are indeed concerns for all countries. However, the way to address these issues should be through enhanced communication and cooperation between nations, rather than simply adopting a one-size-fits-all prohibition. Has the US considered deeper technological exchanges and security cooperation with China to achieve a solution acceptable to both sides? Furthermore, economic and trade wars are not the best way to solve problems. In today's era of globalization, any economic sanctions and trade barriers may trigger a series of chain reactions, ultimately affecting the global economy, including the US itself. Has the US truly considered the long-term economic consequences of this action? Finally, we call on countries to return to the principles of multilateralism and global governance. Only through dialogue and cooperation can the many challenges we face be truly resolved. The US's actions this time undoubtedly pose a new challenge to global governance. We hope that countries can work together to maintain an open, fair, and prosperous world order. Behind this China-US electric war, we deeply feel the intersection of technological development and international relations. This is not just a dispute about electric vehicles but a microcosm of technological innovation, economic competition, and global governance. So, what insights does this war bring us? As viewers, do you resonate with the story of this China-US electric war? What are your expectations for the future of technological development and international relations? Let's think together and discuss the unknown territories of this digital age. We look forward to your thoughts and responses. Stay tuned for the next exciting content. Goodbye for now. For now.